Hi everybody. This is the second part of our chapter 16 for Understanding Media, MCOM 151. So let's just continue where we left off. Interactive media is the topic of our conversation for chapter 6, and it includes the internet, video games, virtual reality, your cell phones, everything that we call considerably new media. So new media are new forms of mass media because the content is always the same. It's either music or narrative, poetry, novels, news and information. It includes websites, social media platforms, video games, virtual reality, as we said, that has no roots in broadcast. Interactivity is one of the notable features of new media. Interactivity means that the condition of communication in which simultaneous and continuous exchanges occur is a two-way street. So video games are interactive because the way you play, it dictates the way the game evolves. So if you play on a computer or any electronic device that has graphic capabilities, you control those graphics and you make the figures move, as everyone knows. So this is a new form of mass media that uses images, movies, sound, narratives, graphical user interfaces, GUIs, to create immersive gaming experiences. So what does it mean when we say immersive? Immersive means that you think of yourself as being part of that environment. So it just exemplifies the concept of convergence. If you think back of the definition of convergence from chapter 1 on page 7, we said convergence is the coming together of computing, telecommunications, and media in a digital environment. So that is our convergence. But immersive means you live in that game, you live in that medium. Video games are not they're not rooted in broadcast, they're not part of the broadcast model of communication. They came up with the computer technology in the 60s and have grown very complex ever since. So in your textbook on pages 170, 171, there is a brief history of video games, and there have been video game studies as part of communication, as part of media studies, because video games are now a significant form of media, and it includes a lot of platforms, consoles, PCs, mobile, arcade, virtual reality environments. So it captures a lot of media forms. There is an area of media studies that is dedicated entirely to video game studies, and all players who participate in a video game, they are, can be casual, professional, male and female, and other genders, all ages, races, locations, all platform choice. So in all video game studies, we look at those participants and those images, those avatars representing groups of population, because all types of players factor into the success of the industry. Therefore, the studies look at all those different groups of population. So global revenues are high from video games in 1919 and 1920. It measures in billions, 152, 196 respectively last year and this year. And there are general categories of video games. There are popular genres: sports, action, MMOGs, massively multiplayer online games, so you play in groups; MMORPGs, multiplayer online role-playing games such as World of Warcraft. There is social games based on social media platforms, Farmville, for example, and serious games that are created to be fun and educational at the same time. And we are now familiar with the term gamification. Education tends to absorb the genre of video games, the concept of video games as being interactive and fun, and unpredictable. That is, the player decides the outcome and the next step. So it is player generated, multi-path, non-linear. It's not like a quiz that you take from question 1 to question 2 to question 3. In a video game, you can go in multiple directions depending on the action you take. So learning can be more fun and more useful and more appropriate to each learner's level if it is gamified. So if it takes the shape of a video game that is based on your ability and your choice. So gamification as a term is explained as using game-like mechanisms in non-game settings, such as earning points or badges for performing certain actions. So when we do gamified learning, we actually reward the player or the learner with some encouragement to help them move forward. Because people learn really well when they're having fun and they're engaged and they're encouraged. So the other factor is that a lot of learners are also gamers, are also players, and the mode is familiar. They get into this competitive mode and they want to win. So winning means learning. MODs, MODDING, creatively modifying video game graphics and codes. They actually create customized gaming experiences, generate games and art inspired by the source material. So we learned that video games are malleable media, and this can happen, when people actually participate in the creation of a video game. So virtual reality experiences, as we saw in the Matrix movie, pushing the boundaries of interactivity and immersion to a very, very high level. Adding more sensory cues to make the digital experience, which, as we know, only includes visual and audio elements. Adding tactile sensory cues, where you touch surfaces and you're in a room that has objects, that creates a completely different world. So fans engage in gatekeeping with video games. Fan gatekeeping is a phenomenon where early fans or adopters of technology resist growth and change by creating access barriers for new people. So they appropriate certain areas of the video game by telling people you're not a true player or a true fan. You aren't a real, these are not real games, and these are ruining the experience for everyone else. So the internet includes a lot of such accusations. Why aren't we scrutinizing those claims? Well, because not many of us see them, and if we do, we feel that there is a reason why people are accusing us of not being real gamers. So we should ask that question, why aren't we looking at the role of gatekeeping more seriously? So we should say that all types of people are allowed to use social media and video games, and therefore we need to be inclusive, which means being nice. So I would encourage you to write a little self-reflection, 2 full paragraphs or 1 page about playing video games and posting on social media. Choose 1 topic above and write 2 paragraphs about how you use the medium, how you engage with others on that medium as part of your reflection. Discuss either a gatekeeping experience you've had or a criticism for using the medium you've experienced. So have you heard from a gatekeeper that you're not a real gamer, you're not a real social media user? I want to hear about that, but maybe we can do this later after the exam. And I will create a special place for this. Maybe we can turn this into a discussion point in our discussion forum, and you will get participation points for this. But I'm letting this assignments stay here attached to the lecture, but the Dropbox will be created on Blackboard, and you will have a chance to actually hear from me before it's due. Thank you so much, and see you next time.